Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so excited to have you here today because we're diving into something absolutely critical for anyone working in tech. We're talking about secrets management. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how to protect the keys, the tokens, and the passwords that keep our production systems safe. Okay, let's just jump right in. Look, establish this in your mind right now. Catastrophic security breaches rarely start the way they do in the movies. It's almost never a hoodie-wearing hacker in a dark room typing out some incredibly complex algorithm to bust through a firewall. No way. Many, if not most, of these massive breaches begin with a simple, mundane mistake, a leaked secret. Just one exposed piece of text that basically acts as a master key to the whole kingdom. And honestly, the terrifying reality is just how easily these leaks happen. Accidental GitHub commits, boom. Database passwords just casually dropped into a Slack channel. Cloud keys sitting right there in plain text and front-end applications. High-level production credentials lingering on a developer's laptop, or webhook secrets that haven't been rotated since the day they were created. The sheer volume of bad practices out there is staggering. And remember, any single one of these can open the door to serious damage. We're talking attackers accessing databases, forging requests, or just spinning up massive cloud infrastructure on your dime. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the anatomy of a leak, define what secrets actually are, and then build our fortress with vaults and environment isolation. Then we'll cover APIs, pipelines, bust the front-end illusion, and finally wrap up with incident response. All right, part one, the anatomy of a leak. And what exactly are secrets? You see, a secret is any sensitive value that grants access, proves identity, signs data, or authorizes communication. It's fundamentally different from your ordinary configuration. A normal config value might just tell the system, hey, the app environment is set to production. That's basically public knowledge, like a name tag. But a secret, that's your database password. That's a hidden value. Secrets aren't just technical details. They are literally critical security boundaries. Anyone who holds them has all the power of that boundary. Which brings us to a very direct question for you. Where should secrets not be stored? Think about your own day-to-day workflows for a second. Where are the places developers might be tempted to just, stash a key for a few minutes while they're testing something out? Well, these are the absolute worst, yet undeniably most common storage locations: source code and Git repositories. Look, if you commit a secret to Git, simply deleting the line in your next commit isn't going to fix it. It's still in the history. We also see them baked into front-end JavaScript, packed into mobile app bundles, sitting in plain text spreadsheets, and living forever in chat messages and server logs. The rule here is incredibly simple. If a place isn't explicitly designed for secrets, they absolutely do not belong there. So the crucial takeaway here is this: convenience is not worth the risk. When systems grow and integrations multiply, it's so tempting for teams to start taking shortcuts. But without proper management, taking those shortcuts creates severe security and operational risks that can take down the whole company. Let's move to part two, building the fortress, vaults and environment isolation. The absolute core pillar of your defense is a secret manager. This is a secure, centralized system like a cloud secret manager or a dedicated enterprise vault. It gives you encrypted storage, strict access control, comprehensive audit logs, and built-in support for rotating those keys. So instead of hard-coding a database password, your application dynamically asks the secret manager for it when it starts up. The vault controls exactly who can access what and when, and it keeps a meticulous record of every single interaction. But a vault is really only step one. You also have to implement environment isolation. Secrets need to be strictly separated. Your development environment should only ever use sandbox payment keys and test email providers. Your production environment is the only place live APIs and real user databases are ever accessed. This enforces the principle of least privilege and dramatically reduces your blast radius. If a developer accidentally leaks a secret from their test environment, no big deal. Your live production system and your real users are totally unaffected. Moving right along to part three, APIs, tokens, and pipelines. When dealing with API keys in JSON Web Tokens or JWTs, the rules have got to be strict. You must use separate keys per environment and aggressively restrict their permissions and IPs. For JWTs, which are basically used for user sessions, a compromised signing key means an attacker can literally forge authentication tokens and take over any account they want. Best practice here is using asymmetric keys. That means a private key to sign the token and a public key to verify it. Pair that with short token lifetimes, and please, be incredibly careful with keys keys for external services. A leaked AI API key, for instance, can rack up massive, unexpected bills literally overnight. Now let's talk about the real danger zone, your CI/CD pipelines. These pipelines bridge your raw code directly to your live deployment, which makes them incredibly high-value targets. The risks here are huge. Secrets accidentally printed in build logs, exposed to untrusted pull requests from external contributors, or just hard-coded right into pipeline scripts. You need strict secret masking, branch restrictions, and ideally short-lived deployment credentials to lock this down. And speaking of which, that brings us to a massive upgrade for your security posture. Short-lived credentials are vastly superior to long-lived static secrets. Think about it. If you use a permanent static key and it leaks, it is dangerous forever until somebody manually realizes it and revokes it. But temporary credentials, like signed URLs, session tokens, or temporary cloud access tokens, they expire automatically after a limited time. Even if an attacker manages to grab one, their window of opportunity is incredibly narrow. They are just significantly safer. All right, part 4, the front-end security illusion. I need to state this unequivocally because it's a huge misconception. The client is never, ever a trusted environment. It honestly doesn't matter if it's a React app, an Angular site, or packaged up beautifully into a mobile app bundle. Anything sent to the browser can and will be inspected. Anything in a mobile app can potentially be extracted by an attacker. You cannot hide backend secrets in front-end code, period. So what is safe to put there? Public identifiers. Things like public configuration values, API base URLs, and publishable payment keys. The ones explicitly designed to just start a flow from the browser. But what absolutely must stay on the back end? Your database credentials, your secret payment keys, your JWT signing keys, and your admin API keys. The front end calls the back end, and the back end safely uses the secret. You have to maintain this strict separation. Finally, part 5. Leaks, architecture, and incident response. Let's tie it all together. Picture a typical online learning platform. Your PostgreSQL database needs a password. The security measure? Storing that in a secret manager using isolated environments. Your payment provider needs a secret key. The measure? Ensuring it is strictly backend only, never touching the front end. And your object storage for the course videos needs an access token. The measure there? Using short-lived signed URLs that expire quickly. This is exactly how a properly isolated system maps specific services to scoped, safely managed secrets. But hey, even with perfect architecture, we're human. Mistakes happen. That's why you need secret scanning. These are automated tools that essentially act as your safety net. They're constantly scanning your Git repositories, your commit histories, your CI logs, and container images to detect patterns of exposed keys. Implementing secret scanning as a pre-commit hook or right in your CI pipeline catches those mistakes early in the dev workflow while before they ever become a live breach. But what happens if the worst happens and a secret actually does leak? You treat it as compromised instantly and kick off a professional incident response. Step 1, identify the compromised secret. Step 2, determine its scope of access. What exactly does this key touch? Step 3, revoke and rotate that secret immediately in your manager. Step 4, check your audit logs rigorously to see if the leaked key was actually used by an attacker. And Step 5, redeploy your application with the newly updated configuration. Which leads me to one of my absolute favorite takeaways from all of this. A team that knows how to rotate secrets quickly is much safer than a team that panics. Incident response has to be practiced. If your default architecture makes secure behavior easy and your team is empowered and practiced in rotating keys, a leak goes from being a catastrophic company-ending event to just a manageable procedural operational task. Which leaves me with a final provocative thought to challenge you with today. Look at your own systems right now. Honestly, if your production database password leaked 5 minutes from now, would your team panic or would you just confidently rotate it? Think about that. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this empowered you to go secure your systems, keep learning, and stay safe out there.